Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back in Black America Radio with your host Rasta B. We got Smoke already in the building. Smoke, you there?
Pow, 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 pow.
Yeah, what's good, yo? What's good?
I'm early. I'm here at the buzzer.
You said what?
I'm here at the buzzer. I'm here at the beginning. Let's get it.
Oh, yeah. Shit, man. It's Friday, yo.
Yeah, everything's everything.
Hey,
though.
where you at?
I'm staying corona free.
You said what?
I said trying to stay corona free.
Yeah. Are you in the state that's opening up?
No, not yet. No opening up. But I was out earlier today. Just had to get some dog food and like little shit like that. But it seemed like it was more busy today. I don't know if it's just people got that on their mind, being that like Georgia's close to us and they're opening up. But it seemed like it was more people out and about, you know what I mean, today than like any other like let's say last Friday. Last time I was like really out and about. So I don't know if it's just in people's minds that, states is opening back up. They just want to just move around more, or could be the weather or whatever. But so far, my state isn't really opening up. Still the same restrictions as, last few weeks or whatever.
Right. But yeah, out here we already opened up and shit. So that shit jumped,
Right.
Saying they flooding up. Yeah, the economy, so that, saying? You got to understand that's a consumer-based business. So
right.
Anybody, with money, and, it's a service, so you just go ahead and just get, what you got to do. So everybody's doing that shit. And it's funny, I joke about it, even though I know, it's not, it's just a joke, but I said you're going to see down south it's going to be like segregation again because the black people are scared to come outside, and all the white people are going to be outside. So you ain't going to see, you're going to see that divide and shit. But, we still going to come out anyway. We still going to come out anyway. But at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying? Oh, shit, I didn't even introduce the show. Just jumped right into the sucker. All right, so this is In Black America Radio. Today's show is called The Slow Reopening of America. It is April 24th, 2020. So, guest calling number 516-531-9992. Yeah, I'm so used to you not being here so early. I just thought about that shit, yeah. But I want to build on that shit because I saw a lot of different information out, you know what I'm saying? We got the Wuhan with the P4 lab situation going on. You got Bronx rapper Fred the Godson, you know what I'm saying? He passed R.I.P., And what I noticed is, we're going to build on all that. What I noticed is that it's a lot of misinformation, just like I said on the last show, going on, being given to black people of the corona shit, and that's what's causing us to die. And I'm going to get into that. But before we get into that, let's get into the Fred the Godson first. New York rapper Fred the Godson died Thursday after being diagnosed with COVID-19. His manager confirmed. He was 35 years old. New York City hip-hop in the world lost a really good one yesterday. The rapper's manager, David Evans, said in an email, Fred left the world better than he found it. The Armageddon Gideon artist revealed that he had contracted coronavirus in a social media post earlier this month. I'm in here with the coronavirus shit. Please keep me in your prayers. Fred wrote on April 6th alongside a photo that showed him in a hospital bed wearing an oxygen mask. A few days after Fred's post, his wife, Leanne Gemont, told the XXL Mag that her husband was in the intensive care unit, but She hoped he was going to make it. He is COVID-19 positive on a ventilator. However, he is progressing. He went in having difficulty breathing. So I'm gonna say that he went in having difficulty breathing on Monday evening. Jermont told the outlet in an interview published April 9th. Tuesday morning, I received a call he was not going to make it because his lungs was not working. He was then put on a ventilator. And as of today, the doctors already weaned him down from 100% to 40% support of ventilation. Fellow musicians took to social media to pay their respects. And that's the rest of the everybody paying their respects. So that's the Fred the Godson story, right? And I want everybody listening to keep in mind and remember he was put on a ventilator. We're gonna talk more about ventilators. You got something to say, Smoke?
No, I mean, it just was, sad shit, really, you know what I'm saying? That's really it, you know what I'm saying? Just to see, I mean, a lot of people is passing, so it doesn't make him any different, but, it's just like somebody you familiar with in terms of musically, you know what I'm saying? This was sad, you know what I mean? Rest in peace to the God, yo.
Yeah, that's some crazy shit. And then they got the Trump. He made the comment about the whole Lysol, injecting the Lysol and trying to disinfect it.
Yeah, right.
And I noticed a lot of people listening to, like a lot of white people, we're gonna say that. So here go black people, right? Here go black people. We don't know how to stop coronavirus, so this is black people, right? Use ginger, vitamin C, these roots, these berries, these leaves, right? That's black people, right? Now here go white people. We're gonna take hydrochloroquine shit that cleans the fish tank. We're gonna try to inject, like Lysol had to come out and say, like, don't inject yourself with Lysol because they know white people are gonna do that. You know what I'm saying? And I say all of that to say, then they had another situation with this white woman. She put Clorox, hot water Clorox, and vinegar in her sink to wash her groceries because she heard about that on the news and ended up passing out. Right. So that's white people, right? Yeah. And here goes another white people story. Just to show you, like, some weirdos, right? But here it goes. And this ain't the so-called right or however you want to call it, right? Doctors warn against vitamin drips, Clorox baths after this couple touts them as coronavirus treatment alternatives. You ready to hear who this person is, Smoke? CNN anchor Chris Cuomo's wife, Christina Cuomo, tested positive for COVID-19 and have since recovered. But she revealed on her blog that she used some unconventional methods in her road to recovery that are raising concerns in the medical community. Cuomo, who is the founder of the wellness website The Purist, details her methods in a new post titled The Cuomo's Corona Protocol Week 3. Just to show you what the Cuomos are doing in their home. In the post, Cuomo revealed that she took Clorox baths and used vitamin drips, among other things, to try to speed up her recovery. She wrote that a doctor who makes house calls came to her house in a hazmat outfit and 3M mask to administer the vitamin drip, which she says includes vitamin C, magnesium, folic acid, and zinc. Cuomo also detailed how she took bleach baths, adding half a cup only, that's what she put in all caps, only, of Clorox to her regular bath to help combat radiation and metals in the system and oxygenate it. Now, then it says, we wanted to neutralize heavy metals because they slow up the electromagnetic frequencies in our cells, which is our energy field. And we need a good flow of energy, she wrote.
Wow.
Never let these white people talk shit about you using your herbs. Never let these white people talk shit about your doctors, all right, and your medical people. Because behind the scenes, they do the same shit, but they don't use natural shit. They use Clorox and the fucking they use weird shit. You know what I'm saying? That's
the shit they people be making. The shit they people be making.
And that's what I'm saying. Yo, we gotta stop.
Clorox bath is the fucking
a Clorox. You jumped in the water, dropped half a cup of Clorox in there. So let me soak inside here because give me my fucking herbs and my roots so I can build my immune system.
Yeah.
Before I decide to jump in a tub full of bleach and Clorox and all kind of shit like that. But that's who y'all want to follow, right? All right. So now, here's an interesting. All right, so that's the Cuomo's now, right? So, also, don't let nobody don't play black people. Don't play into the right versus left bullshit going on in America either. Because I just told that's Chris Cuomo family who's doing this shit. But on TV, the same Chris Cuomo would turn around and laugh at the Trump supporter who does that silly shit, that hillbilly that does it. They would turn around and laugh at them and make you feel like, oh, those idiots are doing that in the backwoods when they do that same shit. Don't get caught up in a little game, man. This ain't our fight. That's their fight. That's internal fight. The only thing you're supposed to be doing is trying to, as black people, really just try to come up. You know what I'm saying? But as a race of people, we should be trying to dominate. But, you know, that's another talk and another conversation, Smoke. Another talk and another conversation.
Oh,
now,
man. Making fun of your natural herbs with Clorox, and then using Clorox. That's hilarious.
Now, I got a phone call the other day, Smoke. Got a phone call from one of the homies who bet me that Trump wasn't going to get reelected.
Oh,
so he called
really
me up. Yeah, he called me up. That's Mike. And your brother, Mike.
Okay.
So, yeah, so he called me up and told me that. So I'm like, yo, Trump is still going to get reelected. You do realize this pandemic and the tie-in of China to this pandemic, right? That means on another level, we're at war. And you don't replace a president in the middle of a war. Joe Biden just came out, Smoke, and said Donald Trump's going to try to push the election. Where'd that come from? You see? The Democrats already trying to play their game. This whole shit is so political and partisan. It's not even funny, yo. It's not even funny.
Oh,
and I'm gonna show you how crazy. I'm gonna show you how partisan. Let me grab one of these little news articles right here. I'm trying to talk and twist the split real quick, but I want to get. Cause I was looking at this. Oh, here go one right here. So, peep this story, Smoke. Everybody got to go outside and wear masks and shit, right? Do they do that in your town?
It's not mandatory, but you know, like the few stores I ain't gonna say all of them, but you see like some of the gas stations that are popped in, you know, they want you to wear some type of face covering, but it's not mandatory. It's not like even the majority of stores that I've been around to and saw, you know, requiring it. But I say a good majority of people. I say 60% is out wearing masks when you pop out. But it's not mandatory.
Wearing masks and shit. So peep this right
60% here. 60% wearing some type of covering.
This is April 23rd. It's from the UK, right? Fit and healthy people wearing masks could make them more at risk of infection. Could wearing face masks actually put you more at risk of infection? While wearing a mask can help reduce the spread of coronavirus, there is some risk that fit and healthy people could find themselves at greater risk of infection by wearing them, a medic has warned. Professor Martin Marshall, chairman of the Royal College of General Practitioners, said it would make wear mask on a voluntary basis to reduce the chance of the spread of coronavirus. But he told BBC Radio 4 today's program that there is a risk that fit and healthy people could be increasing their chance of infection by wearing a mask that encouraged them to touch their face. His comment comes as the Scientific Advisory Group of Emergency was expected to discuss the usage of masks in a meeting on Thursday. There's no research evidence to support wearing masks if you are basically fit and well. There's no research evidence to support wearing masks if you are basically fit and well, said Professor Marshall. Indeed, if people wear masks, there's a risk that play around with it. They play with their eyes more, and maybe you're even at a higher risk of picking up an infection. However, it is common sense that if they are coughing and sputtering, then it makes complete sense to wear masks in order to protect other people. He went on, the guidance that we're expected to hear is that the wearing of face mask is a voluntary activity, not mandated, and it certainly makes a lot of sense to focus, limit resources that we have in the moment, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, so that's how that would go. But when it comes to the face mask shit, Smoke, yeah, the funny thing about it is the shit goes into your eye ducts too, right? The virus. That's what they said originally when they didn't even say the shit was airborne. And I kept saying this shit's airborne. So if you have your mask on and you're trying to adjust your mask and shit, your finger is close to your eye. You have a higher chance of that's what they mean when talking about that touching in your face and you readjusting your mask. You got to remember, nurses, when they go into the nursing field, they're trained on how to wear their gloves, take off their gloves, how to properly wash their hand and all that shit. They're given.
Yeah, I forgot what you call that process and shit.
You said what?
Yeah, it's like the little process they do to put their gloves on and all that shit on to make sure there ain't no like contamination. I think they got a name for it.
Right, with no contamination. So if they have to get trained to know that, how did you just give gloves and masks to people and say put them on? So you got these people touching shit and touching, because you already know, and they already showed you that once you're touching everything with these gloves and all this shit like that, then guess what? That shit is all stuck to your gloves. And then you touch it, anything else, you're bringing that shit with you. It wasn't even there. So now these people recontaminating themselves. You know what I'm saying? So why? Because they're all trying to follow the guidelines instead of just using common sense.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
But see, like the reality too is like it ain't enough.
Right.
It ain't enough materials to really safely do that shit. So like, for example, if you wearing gloves and shit, you touch it, like, you know, you come out your crib, get in your car, you know, you got your gloves on or whatever. Once you got the crib, you touch your car. When you go in your car, you want to take them gloves off. You don't want to bring it, if it's on the outside of your car, so you don't want to bring it inside. Then when you go somewhere, you gotta put more gloves on, touch. You don't want to take it inside the store, so you need to switch gloves, or at least fuck the store. When you come out, you gotta take the gloves off, throw them in the trash, put some new gloves on, go in your car. You know what I'm saying? That's if you moving around, I just named about 3 or 4 pairs right there, 3, 4 situations where you're gonna change your gloves. So if you're doing that all day, every day, that's gonna take a lot of gloves. And the same thing with masks and all that other shit. So there's not a lot of that around. So it's like, you know, people gonna be reusing them.
Smoke, your mic sound a little chippy choppy.
Yeah, I don't know. You can hear me though?
Yeah, I can hear you. It just sounded a little, groggly.
Yeah. I got some other headphones. Maybe it's just my own. Nah, but you know,
I was trying to do
you ain't gonna really be able to properly keep all of the germs away anyway if you're not changing the gloves and changing masks and shit like that.
And that's my whole shit. Then you got a story like this. This is the title from Political, April 23rd, in Canada. 1 million respirators acquired from China unfit for coronavirus fight. They said Canada Public Health Authorities say around 1 million KN95 respirators acquired from China have failed federal COVID-19 standards for use by frontline health professionals. As a result, the federal government did not dispense the non-compliant masks to equipment-hungry province and territories. This in Canada. The failure of these respirators to meet Canadian requirements is yet another challenge for the country as it fights to secure PPE and medical supplies amid what has become a ferocious global competition. The KN95 is a Chinese model similar to the N95, which is a crucial type of personal protective equipment used to defend nurses, doctors, and other healthcare fighters against COVID-19. In general, Canada has authorized the KN95 to use as part of the COVID-19 response, but individual shipments are being inspected. China has become the source of around 70% of Canada's imports of PPE, which much of the rest coming from the United States. The other 30% going from the United States. The United Kingdom and Switzerland, a senior Canadian source told Political this week. 10 coming from the United States. United Kingdom and Switzerland. The international race for medical gear fueled by shortage around the world has led countries to connect with new suppliers and manufacturers. Morissette said the Public Health Agency of Canada had added, had been verifying the quality of purchases and donated supplies to ensure they met the federal technical specifications for COVID-19. To date, PHAC has identified approximately 1 million KN95 masks as non-compliant with specific specifications for healthcare settings. The number of rejected masks was first reported by the Globe and Mail. Canada's efforts to extract PPE and medical supplies from China has run into complications. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau said 2 airplanes sent to China to pick up shipments of badly needed medical products were forced to return to Canada on Monday empty. Trudeau cited transportation delayed on the ground and strict rules that limited how long planes were permitted to wait at Shanghai Airport, a statement the Chinese government had disputed. A spokesperson for Procurement Minister Anita Anand said 4 flights carrying N95 respirators, surgical masks, coveralls, and testing regions from China managed to arrive in Canada last week with their cargo. The government has been expecting more plane loads to land in Canada from China this week. Earlier this week, Conservative MP Chris Lewis asked Health Minister the Health Minister in the House of Commons in Canada had experienced problems with PPEs. Okay, so this is the part I want to talk about. Got to the end. Earlier this week, Conservative MP Chris Lewis asked the Health Minister of Commons of Canada had experienced problems with PPEs from China, as had been reported by other countries. Yes, some of the equipment we received was not suitable for medical care work, and we are looking at that equipment to see if it can be repurchased for other kind of workers who do not need the same level of protection. Indeed, the rejected masks may still be useful, but away from hospitals. Although such products are non-compliant with the specifications from the frontline healthcare response, they are subsequently assessed to determine potential use in non-healthcare settings. So you know what that means, Smoke, right? Smoke.
What did you say?
I said, so you know what that means.
What's that?
If they're saying that the Chinese sent them PEs and respirators and shit, that's just defunct. It don't meet up to the standards to fight and to do nothing for the COVID-19 shit, right? The damn PPEs, the gloves, the masks, all that shit is not even up to par with the standards for the hospitals, right? But they say they're gonna use it anyway for non-hospital purposes. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, so the nurses, they're saying that it's not. That mean that's who they give to the people. That's what they give to the people.
True.
That's who they give to these charities. And let's even be more sinister. When you saying, oh, all of these black people dying from COVID-19 at these high rates, how you know these products didn't get donated? Inner city goddamn hospitals and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Because they probably like, listen, we'll take anything right now. You see what I'm saying? We'll rather take
that stuff is limited. It's limited, you know what I'm saying? And like even like when you go to you try to buy stuff like that off of Amazon, they have it you can't buy it basically. They have that shit categorized for people who is in the hospital field. So I don't even know how you order it. Maybe you call it in or something like that, but like, you know, when you go on the app, let's say you try to get like a 3M mask or something like that, it'll show you the option of it, but it'll say like specifically for hospitals, blah, 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 COVID-19, you know, something to that effect. You know what I'm saying? So it's limited. But when you look at the, like 3M, like how I was looking at it, you know, 3M is like credible. They're a credible company, you know, so to speak. But when they have other like, because I was looking at the paint respirators, you know, the one with the, they had like the 2 filters on the side. It'd be like the little mask on your mouth and then like 2 filters on the side. So like I was looking at those or whatever. And I really need the paint too. So the last time I used this crazy base paint, that shit was strong as hell. So anyway, I'm like, well, I need to get one of them anyway. And the 3M ones, you can't, anything 3M is under that same classification I just said. But like the other off-brand ones, you could buy those. You could still buy them. So, you know, I don't know, like, I didn't check the specifications based on, like, what you was just speaking about, whether it was, you know, was it K95 versus KN95.
Nah, that KN95 one is the Chinese version.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So, yeah, so that's what I'm saying. I don't know if the ones, I didn't check that per se, but the off-brand ones, you could still go and make a purchase for it on Amazon. So maybe it's of a lower standard. I don't know, because I didn't really check into that based on that criteria you just said. But that's interesting. So next time I go on Amazon, I'm going to go back to see, like, if it have a specification on what type of filters and shit that it have on it or whatever. Because the mask is just like some plastic shit. But the filters is what the real deal is. But I found it interesting that those were being sold, like the other name brands, but the 3M ones were specifically for the hospital. I was like, that's weird. You would think that they would block all the respirators and have it go. Yeah, but the ones that specifically say 3M on it, you can't buy those. But the other ones, they still have them. So that's interesting. I need to go back and check that shit. If they have like a category on the filters itself.
Yeah, see them shit say KN95 and shit.
Right.
That'll be interesting right there.
Because when you look at some of the masks, like, well, even going back to the toilet tissue situation, you know, the shortages and so forth. Amazon, I forget the Amazon brand, but you could buy that in bulk. You know, the cases of it or whatever, and they were sold out. They don't even tell you when it's available again. Won't even let you put it in your cart. But they'll have like, you know, they had other deals like 10 rolls of toilet tissue for whatever, $10 or whatever. But then when you click on it, that shit comes from China. It's like, I was like, damn, that's crazy. So that same situation could apply to, you know, those masks I was talking about. It's like something I'm just putting together right now. You know, I'm thinking about it.
Yeah, that's just an economic war to the fifth power. To the fifth fucking power. Here's another little Corona syrup. April 23rd. A lot of shit was coming out April 23rd. This Reuters title. Blood pressure drugs are in the crosshairs of COVID-19 research. So they're saying scientists are baffled by how the coronavirus attacks the body, killing many patients while barely affecting others. But some are tantalized by a clue. A disproportionate number of patients hospitalized by COVID-19, the disease caused by the virus, have high blood pressure. Theories, meaning not facts, guesses. They're just guessing. They're trying to find a link. Theories about why the condition makes them more vulnerable and what patients should do about it have sparked a fierce debate among scientists over the impact of widely prescribed blood pressure drugs. Researchers agree that the life-saving drug affects the same pathway that the novel coronavirus takes into the lungs and the heart. They differ on whether those drugs open the door to the virus or protect against it. Resolving that question has taken on new urgency after an April 8 report by the U.S. Center of Disease Control and Prevention showed that 72% of hospitalized COVID-19 patients 65 or older had hypertension. The drugs are known as ACE inhibitors and ARBs, broad categories that include Vasotec, Valsartan, Arbesartan, as well as their generic version. In a recent interview with a medical journal, Anthony Fauci, whatever his name is, the U.S. government top infectious disease expert, cited a report showing similar high rates of hypertension among COVID-19 patients who died in Italy, and suggested the medicines, rather than the underlying condition, may act as the accelerant for the virus. So do you hear this, black people? Anthony Fauci, whatever his name is, the U.S. government's top infection disease expert, cited a report showing similar high rates of hypertension among COVID-19 patients who died in Italy, and suggested the medicines, rather than the underlying condition, may act as the accelerant for the virus. But again, this is a theory. This is a guess. They're just trying to find a link. Efforts to understand how the virus used the pathway to the heart and lungs and the role of the medicines are complicated by a lack of rigorous studies. There are millions of Americans that take ACE inhibitors or AR daily, said Dr. Khalid Alexander, co-director of Johns Hopkins Center of Drug Safety and Effectiveness in Baltimore. This is one of the most important clinical questions. An estimated 100 million U.S. residents suffer from high blood pressure, which increase the risk of heart disease, stroke, and an estimated 100 million U.S. residents suffer from high blood pressure, which increase, the high blood pressure does that, which increase the risk of heart disease, stroke, and kidney failure. About 4/5 of them need to take prescription drugs to control it. You don't need prescription drugs to control that. That's the crazy part. High blood pressure is one of the easiest fucking conditions to maintain and correct. That is one of the easiest things to maintain and correct. And if you maintain a high blood pressure, they saying that would, because you got to say it in reverse, you understand, Smoke? That they saying the high blood pressure, which increased the risk, that means maintaining and lowering your high blood pressure would decrease the risk of heart disease, stroke, and kidney failure.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? And high blood pressure is one of the easiest fucking things to control. That's the crazy part. But no, lack of discipline,
that diet.
lack of knowledge of self, and I mean, definitely a diet. But that's why they're on the pills. And now you're taking your ACE inhibitors and your ARBs, and they're widely prescribed to patients with congestive heart failure, diabetes, or kidney disease. The drug accounts for billions of dollars in prescription sales worldwide. The drugs account for billions of dollars in prescription sales worldwide. The absence of, so what this COVID did was just knocked out a whole bunch of, I don't want to say that, I might sound too, let me not say that.
Don't do it.
I'm going to say it one more time, and then you can read between the lines. The drugs accounted for billions of dollars in prescription sales worldwide. And the people that take these drugs are getting, dealing with this corona shit, you know what I'm saying? So these are customers, and then the people who sell the drugs are what? So the coronavirus is, all right, let me continue. The absence of clear answers of how the drug impact COVID-19 patients has sparked rampant speculation and correspondence and editorials posted on medical journal websites, and those where scientists share unreviewed, pre-published study drafts. Many patients are, then let's get into the deepest part of their arguments. But thing being done right now, they're trying to see the correlation between the blood pressure drugs and how it affects, dealing with the body and things of this nature. You see? So they still don't know what's going on, but they're trying to figure it out. They're trying to figure this shit out.
Drugs kill.
And what's the panic on your side when it comes to black people?
The panic?
Yeah. Do you feel like it's a source of panic in the community?
I mean, just not the people that I'm around every day, you know what I'm saying? I mean, it's more like, when you start, hitting the YouTube videos, watching, the news, you know what I'm saying? Like, like my mother, for example, she's older, but, she's more like, yo, just take care of yourself, don't go too much. It's not really like a big panic when I'm talking to individual people. You know what I mean? People out and about in the streets. Some people got the mask on, some people don't. But, it's like people just doing what they got to do. To me, the panic comes in when I start seeing, when I start watching these, like the black news streams, so to speak, like the YouTubes and shit like that. People talking on there. You know what I'm saying? The news, the so-called news outlets. You know what I'm saying? So, I'm in the crib with two other people, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, yo, all right, this is what we got to deal with right now. Buy our food. We have our little strategy on how to deal with it, so we don't got to go out much, you know what I'm saying? Things like that. But as far as, like, a panic, we're going to, breathe in the wrong air, you're going to die type shit. You only hear that when, you know what I'm saying, when you start listening to news outlets, like,
black
for
media.
example, when Georgia opened, it's like, you start seeing it on the timelines on social media. They killing us out here. They going back out because the strategies. They start hearing all of the conspiracy theories and things attached to, like, the states reopening pretty much. You know what I'm saying? It's like a
I call
conspiracy
it
based around.
I call it that.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like that's really the only time you hear it, or I hear it.
Yeah, that's sucker shit. And the thing I don't like, and that's because you got to understand we getting older now, so the youth is replacing us when we was young. Yo, these little backward ass niggas, the fear, right, that black people worship is disgusting. That's the real god of black people, is fear. That's who black people bow down to and pray to, is fear. And that shit is so disgusting, yo. We will sit over here now, and I'm gonna show some numbers before the show's done. I'm gonna show some numbers, but the fear is so disgusting, yo. When it comes to black people, we sit here now because television and shit like that talking about this damn corona shit. We sit around and shit like that, and we just deal in fear, right? Now we sitting out here now, and we scared to live. Because what? Oh, you're afraid to catch coronavirus, but guess what? You're already outside. You went to the grocery store, you put gas in your tank. Shit, majority of us still going to work.
Yeah.
So what the hell are you afraid of?
Right.
Like, what are you afraid of? You know what I'm saying? Like, the fear. What the fuck is you afraid of? And when did becoming a fearful people become powerful? And it seems like we embrace being cowards. You know what I'm saying? And that to me is disgusting. You know what I'm saying? And that's the part that I can't respect that shit. You don't got to do this shit. Me, and all the tough shit I'm talking, right? Am I going to go, if I got my hair cut or whatever, am I going to go to a barbershop to get my hair cut? No. Am I going to run to a movie theater and all of a sudden? Nah. You know what I'm saying? I'm chilling. I'm good. But I'm not going to walk over here now and be like, yo, you know what I'm saying? Act like, yo, let me spray down my woman before she comes inside the house and all that sucker shit. No, we practice the same cleanliness we always practice. We practice the same cleanliness that we always practice. You know what I'm saying? That's what we do. We work out. We take our supplements and our vitamins and shit like that, and we do the same shit we was doing prior to this COVID shit. You see what I'm saying? And that's what you do. Those who are alive and surviving, change your dietary habits. Increase your vitamins. Learn your vitamins to take, black people. You know what I'm saying? And get serious. Stay away from them doctors and them hospitals. That's what's killing us. And we don't get that shit. That's what's killing us. When we go to, you know how funny it is? So this black man, his woman, she pregnant, and she about to give birth, but they in the crib. This is during the whole corona shit. I heard it on Steve Harvey's show. So I want to say the woman's mother, something like that, delivered the baby, right? Or he did. Either he or the mother, one of them, right, delivered the baby. And they like, oh man. So she like, yeah, man. I was nervous or whatever, but I would never do it again. That wasn't planned. And they like, yeah, leave that to the professionals and blah blah blah. And I'm like, professionals? Your body, woman, is made to give birth. You don't need a doctor to give birth. But what happens is they slowly take away who you are and make you into a vessel that always needs the system. You see what I'm saying? And once you always need the system, you don't know how to function until the system tells you what to do, how to think, how to act, how to move. What your emotions should be, who's the good guy and who's the bad guy. You know what I'm saying? That's how the system have us programmed to believe, or because they take away that thing within us to have our an opinion, a different stance. You know what I'm saying? Whatever that is, yourself. They take that from you. You know what I'm saying? So now you can't even think for yourself no more. Just like I always say, how the hell is a 16-year-old girl out here fucking, gets pregnant, don't want to tell her parents, no, excuse me, not 16, 14-year-old girl, don't want to tell her parents, she have the baby in the closet. Don't die, have the baby in the closet by herself. How does the grown woman on her way to the hospital to give birth in the taxi with the car stuck in traffic, she got to give birth, and the taxi man deliver the baby, or the cop that shows up, you know what I'm saying, delivers the baby. She don't die, but when the black woman goes to the hospital, she have a higher chance at dying, giving birth, and we don't understand why. We don't understand why. And that's why I said a 14-year-old girl, Smoke. A 14-year-old girl can give birth in a closet, wrap the baby up and throw it in the trash. You don't never hear no story of some woman, this 14-year-old girl bled to death and died somewhere because giving birth is this treacherous activity. No. When they giving birth in the closet on sneak tip because they don't want their mamas to know during the whole teen pregnancy, you ain't hear none of these little girls dying randomly. Every time you hear about a woman dying during birth, it is in the hospital.
No.
It's in the hospital. But what do we tell? What was said on the Steve Harvey show? Leave it to the professionals.
No.
Leave it to the professionals. It's our mind. It's our mind. That's the whole part that I don't like. It's our mind. We have a submissive mind frame. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, like, while you was talking, I went back to Amazon because it was one of my recent searches to look at the mask. I'm like, I gotta go look at this shit. So I just clicked on the first one just for the sake of it. I went back to the Amazon to look at those masks. The mask, for the face mask or whatever.
The N95 joint.
All right, so right. the paint ones though. So the ones that they sell, the first one that I could click on that you can buy is, so I go on the customer reviews or whatever, and first motherfucker in here he put, hold on, let me get back to it. He put a 1. Bought this to keep spray fumes out of my lungs, but I'd rather breathe them in than breathe the fumes coming off the inside of this mask. I've got chemical sensitivity, and whatever plastic they use in this smells toxic. I can't wear it for more than a few breaths without getting dizzy. He gave it a 1. He got more other stuff on there, but whatever. All right, next person.
Yeah.
Person put a 1. Do not buy. This cheap plastic mask has such a foul odor. I have washed it several times, but it still stinks enough to gag you. If you place it in a closed room, it will smell up the room in a short time. Next person, Jeffrey. He gave it a little more stars, but he put ships from China. So these is all coming from China, you know what I'm saying? So it's basically like, just those two, right? 3 people right here. It's a low quality mask.
But did they say the name of the mask? Did they say the name of the mask?
The brand was
Nah. Do they say KN95?
Oh no, it says. Oh, that's what I was looking at. Let me go back because it had like the filter information on here too, and it says the filter is activated carbon. So basically, and they showing a picture of it. It's just like fabric, activated carbon, and then another piece of fabric. So it's not N95. It's basically like those carbon nuggets that you could put like in a fish tank or something, like, you know what I mean? Right. You could buy those from like the little activated charcoal pieces. That's what it looks like. Right. They just got that between 2 pieces of fabric inside like a plastic thing, make it look official, like official filter. But they got the breakdown of it right there on it. But basically it's not suitable for any N95 standard. Basically what is what I'm looking at right here. So, but going back to the point, these are the masks that they actually allowing you to buy. Those 3M masks should be under the correct standard because those are the ones that they're allowing the hospitals and people in those fields to actually buy. So, again, if you get in these masks, they're of low quality. They're coming from China, and they go back to the story that you gave of those low-quality masks being donated. So those are the ones that are being given out in the streets. Come down and get some masks and blah, blah, blah. You go get them. Those are the ones that you're getting. So even if you're spending money on these to get it, we're getting the low-quality shit that ain't even really going to work to defense against that shit. So it's like your main defense against this virus, in general, would be your personal health. You know what I'm saying? And taking care of yourself. So if you're going to invest in any of this shit anyway, you need to be invested in those herbs, the vitamin C's, and, go to your local herbologist and figure out what you need, you know what I'm saying? But you might as well do that because even if you're spending the money on it just by these stories here and that quick investigation, you're not even getting something that could protect you anyway. Gotta take care of your health.
Yeah. But now I want to get into the whole origins of this COVID shit, which started in what? Wuhan, China, right?
Wow.
So we're going to get into this Wuhan shit. So France said there's no evidence that COVID-19 is linked to the Wuhan research lab set up with French help. So France on Friday said there was no factual evidence so far of a link between the COVID-19 outbreak and the work of the P4 research laboratory in the Chinese city of Wuhan, which France helped set up and where the current pandemic started. So France helped set this laboratory up in Wuhan, China. And from my understanding, the United States helped fund it. Now, what was France funding? United States funding and France setting up? A P4 research laboratory. What is a P4 research laboratory? We're going to get into that. We would like to make it clear that there is, to this day, no factual evidence corroborating recent reports in the U.S. press linking the origins of COVID-19 and the work of the P4 laboratory of Wuhan, China. And official at President Emmanuel Macron's office said, the broad scientific concession holds that SARS-CoV-2, the official name of the coronavirus, originated in bats. In 2004, France signed an agreement with China to establish a research lab on infectious diseases of biosafety level 4, the highest level in Wuhan, according to a French decree signed by then Foreign Minister Michael Bonnier. I'm going to read that shit again. In 2004, France signed an agreement with China to establish a research lab on infectious diseases of biosafety level 4. That's what P4 stands for. But what do the P stand for? We're going to get into that. Biosafety level 4, the highest level in Wuhan, according to a French decree signed by then Foreign Minister Michael Bonnier. U.S. trying to determine if virus originated in the lab. United States President Donald Trump said on Wednesday his government was trying to determine whether the coronavirus emanated from a lab in Wuhan. The Secretary of State Mike Pompeo said Beijing needs to come clean on what they know. General Mark Milley, chairman of the U.S. Joint Chief of Staff, said on Tuesday that U.S. intelligence indicate that the coronavirus likely occurred naturally as opposed to being created in a laboratory in China. But there's no certainty either way. The Washington Post said this week that national security officials in the Trump administration have long suspected a research facility in Wuhan to be the source of the outbreak. As far back as February, the Chinese state-backed Wuhan Institution Institute of Viral Biology dismissed rumors that the virus may have been artificially synthesized at one of its laboratories or perhaps escaped from such a facility. The allegations came amid mounting international criticism of China's international cover-up of the virus and suspicious that Beijing had not revealed the extent of the public health crisis due to economic concerns. China on Friday revisited the pandemic toll again, this time by a major 50% increase in the total death toll, but the Chinese authorities denied it due to a cover-up. The lab at the controversy. The Wuhan Research Laboratory at the heart of the controversy is home to China's Center of Virus Culture Collection. I will repeat that again. The lab at the heart of the controversy, the Wuhan Research Laboratory at the heart of the controversy, is home to the China Center for Virus Culture Collection, the largest virus bank in Asia, preserved more than 1,500 strands, according to its website. The complex contains Asia's first maximum security lab equipped to handle Class 4 pathogens, dangerous viruses that poses a high risk, Class 4 pathogens. That's what P4 stands for. You get that, Smoke? So when they saying this is the P4 lab, the Wuhan P4 lab, and they're holding the most high dangerous type viruses and shit, the P means pathogens, the 4 means class 4. Class 4 pathogens. What are class 4 pathogens? Dangerous viruses that pose a high risk of person-to-person transmission, such as Ebola. The 300 million won, which is $42 million in American dollars, lab was completed in 2015 and finally opened in 2018 with the founder of the French bioindustry firm. So, yeah, then it says the 3,000 square meter P4 lab located in a square building with a cylinder annex lays near a pond at the foot of a forest hill in Wuhan's remote outskirts. They say that the institute also holds a P3 laboratory, pathogen 3 laboratory, class 3 laboratory, that has been in operation since 2012. So you see that, Smoke?
Yeah, they got level 3 and 4, but you basically saying that the lab that is rumored to start everything is right there. Is right with that lab.
Yeah, I want to see what year SARS came out.
I just saw something where they was listing all those things.
Yeah, I want to see what year did the SARS outbreak come out. I just want to check a quick little something. They're saying how the virus spread around the world in 2003. Looking through doctors, and it's the same shit. Look, in 2002, doctors in Guangdong province of southeastern China begin to see first cases of what would become known as SARS, or severe acute respiratory syndrome. So that was the first wave to see how, you know what I'm saying? And then the second one is a more fucking powerful strand. Over the next several months, 8,096 people in 26 countries contracted the new viral strand. What do you like? The new viral strand. Well, it said contracted the new viral illness, leading to 774 deaths. Although the slow reporting of initial SARS case helped the illness. Man, listen, I'm done. Listen to this, bro. Over the next several months, 8,096 people in 26 countries contracted the new viral illness, right? Leading to 774 deaths. Although the slow reporting of initial SARS cases helped the illness spread globally and forced medical practices eventually help in the outbreak. The reason for the slow reporting of SARS are complicated. Doctors had never seen a viral illness before, and at first, those in Guangdong province thought the SARS case they were seeing might be a typical pneumonia. Nobody was aware of it, including probably people in Beijing. Even after doctors began to realize that there was something new about the illness they were seeing, it was kept locally for a while, which was one of the problems. There were also reports that officials may have encouraged doctors not to report new cases when SARS spread to Beijing. In April 2003, Times Magazine obtained a letter from Jing Yangyong, a physician at an army hospital in Beijing, alleging that the actual number of SARS cases in capital city was much higher than official count. It turned out to be true, and Chinese officials released the real numbers that month and also began to monitor Jing. So basically, the same shit that happened in 2003, Smoke, with SARS, same shit that happening now, well, 2002, the same shit that's happening now with the fucking COVID-19 shit. The same exact shit. We ain't talking about nothing changed from the script.
Little outbreak. Yeah, spreading.
We talk the same shit. We talking about it's happening at the same motherfucking country. We talking about their government doing the same fucking keep shit silent and on station and lie about numbers and shit. But then y'all turn around and say we're gonna fund and put a research lab to house all these fucking viruses in this fucking country. Yo, this whole shit's a game, my nigga. Straight up. This whole shit's a game. So, you know what I'm saying? It's a game, man. It's a game. It's a game. I don't know what to call it. I don't know what to call it. I don't know what to call it. It's just a fucking game. Why am I reading the same shit, the same story in 2002 about SARS? That's the same fucking story in 2020. You dig what I'm saying? For coronavirus. The same fucking story. That's why it's just a game, you know? I said that before. I told him.
I'm trying to get my damn computer restarted.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the whole shit. It's bugged out. It's all bugged out, man. I'm looking at this shit and I'm just like, so, all right, so I'm looking through this real quick through this damn story because this is another. Yeah, all right, so then they talking about, they're still trying to see if the source of the damn virus came from this lab and shit like that. That's what they all trying to figure out. They say Pompeo said Friday that China authorities themselves, when they started investigating the virus, they considered whether the Wuhan Institute of Biology was in fact the place, WIV, was in fact the place where this came from. They say we know they have not permitted the world scientists to go into the laboratory to evaluate what took place there, what's happening there even as we speak, he said in a radio interview. The Washington Post, and this is Pompeo talking. The Washington Post and Fox News both quoted anonymous sources who voiced concern that the virus may have come accidentally from the facility. Now, to be fair, this is coming from Fox News right here. But it goes, U.S. diplomat cable seen by the Washington Post revealed that officials were especially concerned about inadequate safety standards related to the research handling of the SARS-like bat controversy in a high-security lab. Fox News said the pandemic patient zero may have been infected by a strand of bat virus being studied at the facility that somehow got into the population in Wuhan. Various conspiracy theories about the alleged origins of the coronavirus in the lab have flourished online. What do the scientists know about the virus? They're saying that the scientists believe that the virus originated in bats before being passed to humans through an intermediary species, possibly the endangered pangolin, which scales are trafficked illegally in China for traditional medicine. So basically what they're saying is scientists believe that the virus originated in the bats before passing it to humans, but they can't explain how it could have went to humans from a bat. So they just said it must be another animal species that did that, but they can't name it. So they're guessing it could be something else because they didn't say shit in this article. But a study by a group of Chinese scientists published in The Lancet in January revealed that the first COVID-19 patient had no connection to the Wuhan's infamous animal market, and neither did 13 of the first 41 confirmed cases. Institute researcher Shai Zingli, one of China's leading experts on bat coronavirus and the deputy director of the P4 lab, I told you what P4 mean already, was part of the team that published the first suggest that SARS-CoV-2 came from bats. In an interview with Scientific American, she said the SARS-CoV-2 genome sequence did not match any of the bat coronavirus her laboratory had previously collected and studied. Flipper Linzo, biosecurity research at King's College London, said, while there is currently no proof of the lab accident theory, there is also no real evidence that the virus came from the wet market. For me, the pandemic origins is still an open question. There are some indications that could point to a potential. There are some indications that could point to a potential lab accident from basic scientific research, she said, but all of this needs considerable investigation from anyone to say anything with any certainty on the pandemic origins. And that's called bullshit, ladies and gentlemen. That's called bullshit. Because how you going to say there's no proof for the lab accident theory, right, Smoke? And then say there are some indications that could point to a potential lab accident from basic scientific research. So, I mean, there is some proof. If you said there's some indication.
Game.
Yo, these people, they play games, man. They be playing games, yo. They be playing games. You gotta listen to how they talk, man. They be playing games, man. They be talking out of both sides of their mouth. You said what?
We ain't telling you yet. We know, but we ain't gonna tell you yet.
When I tell you that shit be funny, man, when you just listen to it and just see how the whole shit break down and shit. They'll let it see, and that's how you get caught, because you just listening to them talk, but you're not breaking it down. The person says there is no proof of they're gonna say theory to make it sound silly. You know what I'm saying? So there's no proof of the lab theory. The lab theory is that the shit leaked out of there, came from there. Just to turn around and say, even though there is some indications by scientific research that you know that could have happened. You know, there is some research that could have happened. Well, then that means there's proof. But see, what happened is China got everybody in the chokehold. China got everybody in the chokehold. Straight up. Here's a April 24th one, Associated Press. China's diplomats show teeth in defending virus response. Virus outbreak, China warrior diplomats. From Asia to Africa, London to Berlin, Chinese envoys have set off diplomatic firestorms with a combative defense whenever their country is accused of not acting quickly enough to stem the spread of the coronavirus pandemic. They belong to a new generation of wolf warrior diplomats, named after patriotic blockbuster films starring a muscle-bound Chinese commando killing American bad guys in Africa and Southeast Asia with their bare hands. The tough approach has been building for several years under President Xi Jinping, who has efficiently jettisoned former leadership Deng Xiaoping's approach of hiding China's ambition and bidding its time. So I'm going to read that again. The tougher approach has been building for several years under President Xi, who has effectively jettisoned former leader Deng Xiaoping or whatever approach of hiding China's ambitions and biding its time. Meaning the president, the former leader approach was to keep your heads down, Chinese, build up your damn economy, stay out the way, and don't let nobody know what our true intentions are. And now President Xi jettisoned, and he's like, "Fuck this! Lift the covers off your head now. Reveal who you are. We're here to conquer the world, and we ain't taking no fucking prisoners." That's what's going on right now, Smoke.
He ain't playing no game.
That's what's going on.
He just basically being outright with it, you know what I'm saying? Because he's saying, like, traditionally, according to the article, they, I guess it's like a Chinese way of just, you know, like playing diplomatic, but they know what they're trying to do. But this new guy's like, fuck all that. We're going straight for throat, talk means, and we save all the bullshit. We're going straight at it. You know what I'm saying? So that is like, go
but
get
you
it.
seen
like,
that growing up. But you seen it growing up.
Right.
Them Chinese was mad humble.
Had to be.
I told you. Look at Chinese now. They riding around in fucking Lexus and Range and all kind of shit. They want to be, you know what I'm saying, starring roles in movies and all kind of shit like that. Yeah. There ain't no humbleness now. Now they showing you. Now they came through their Trojan horse. Now they coming to conquer. So while black people talking about white privilege and racism, white supremacy, start to practice saying Chinese supremacy. Start practicing saying the yellow man. Start practicing saying that now. Because we don't want to learn, We don't want to learn. We don't want to sit here and understand, We have to as a people. We have to create our own shit. We have to make our own shit. We cannot depend on nobody's shit. You see what I'm saying? And I know for the ones who don't know, it's like, how do we do this? If you can't do it, what I would tell you to do and encourage you to do is pass that to your child and teach your child to be like, listen, I'm raising children up who understand that what they're doing is to advance the black race. What they're doing is to be entrepreneurs, creators, whatever they're doing. We don't need no more basketball players. We don't need no more entertainers. We got that already. We need industry builders. You understand, Smoke? I didn't say business leaders. Right? I said industry builders. We need industries. Tyler Perry.
Yeah, control the market.
Right. We need industry. We need to be hiring our people to make product that we sell globally and make billions. That's the type of this is the type of shit that we need. Is it gonna happen overnight? No, it's not. No, it's not. It's not. Don't even worry about that. Don't stress yourself out. Don't think hearing me say that means you must jump up and start creating a fucking car. You know what I'm saying? It's for you to understand this is what the problem is and this is what we need. You see what I'm saying? This is the reality. That other foo-foo shit that you hear everywhere else, this is the reality. You know what I'm saying? So Smoke, they say, so the height of China's ambition and biding its time. His government has urged its diplomats to pursue major country diplomacy with Chinese characteristics, a call for China to reassert its historic stature as a global power. The days when China can be put in a submissive position are long gone, say an editorial in the Global Times, a state-run newspaper known for its outspoken views. The Chinese people, it said, are no longer satisfied with a flaccid diplomatic tone. Ambassador Kong Yu. Now you hear that, right, folks? Now you gotta continue. You hear that, right? See, they're not saying, yo, it was. Do you remember the time when the Chinese ruled the world? When we was kings and queens and we was great? Remember that? No, they're recapturing it. They're recapturing it. They're not just talking about it. You know what I'm saying? They're not talking about it. They're doing it.
China man, like, where my nuts at? Let me hold on. Let me grab a
You know what I'm saying?
Oh, man.
They're not sitting over here reliving the times of Mao. Yo, I'm a Maoist. I'm still living in the times of Mao. Yo, I'm going to fuck. No, they practice. They practice these achievements. And it took decades, but they practiced. They looked at the floor, corrected, and they kept going forward. If there was any hiccups, they went back to the drawing field. Everything you made, a Chinese would make it and sell it to you cheaper. And it's less superior to your product, but it's cheaper. And that's how they became powerful. They didn't become powerful because they're strong. They didn't become powerful because they can rap or they can tap dance. They didn't become powerful because for no other reasons than economics. They created an economy and they competed economically and they defeated the crackers. That's it. The end. But then black people sit here talking about, man, but the white man, or he'll zap you. That white man will zap you into space if you try to recreate the black economy. Don't you know that white man will drop a bomb on your business if you try to recreate a black economy. That white man, don't you know, he'll change the rules. But everybody's building the economy around this fucking white man, except black people. It's a damn shame.
Yeah, and it's funny how the difference in tone is, you know what I'm saying, the tone of the leadership. You got Chinese leaders saying, like, all right, we got to bang on our chest, you know what I'm saying? We got to show what we out here for, you know what I'm saying? Whereas, you know, you hear our leaders, you know, cowering with fear, basically. You know what I mean? It go back to the question you asked me earlier, like what's the tone of of the people, and like when you turn on the TV or when you know the messages that's put out there is full of fear.
Yeah.
So like when you listening, when you comparing it to this argument, it's like the Chinese leaders are like, look, this is what we doing. This is how it's going. You know, they got a plan, they got a strategy, they got a way that they looking at it. You know, but our viewpoints or what the viewpoints we being fed is that of fear. And there's no stance of power, no stance of taking over, seizing the opportunity, finding opportunities, because that's really what it is for us. Because if you listen to the show or follow us, we always speaking of the black economy or lack of it. So right now it's like we need to be finding opportunities where we can fit in to create those industries and markets that, Rasta B was just speaking of. So that's what we need to be doing right now instead of like just cowering in fear. I mean, of course, there's a level of being smart, and taking care of yourself and things of that. We ain't out here trying to act like Superman, you know what I'm saying? But at the same time, there's no time to be fearful. It's time for us to improve our standing, you know what I'm saying, in the world again, you know what I'm saying? And the stance that we should be taking is sort of President, what's his name, Xi or whatever. You know what I mean? We should be taking a stance. The RP should be taking a stance of that. Again, it might be different because we don't have an economy, but for us, it would be more so finding those opportunities so we could build on that for the next 5 years, 10 years, 25, and so forth. Because it don't happen overnight.
Hell yeah.
You know what I mean? Just like Ross B said earlier, it's not an overnight process. So you start from here. The cracks is in the cement. You know what I mean? The cracks is there. You just gotta bust through it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And that's the number one thing we gotta remember. It's not gonna happen overnight. So stop thinking it's gonna happen overnight. The whole purpose is doing. Like I said, you got children, good. That means you can instill in them at 7 years old or whatever age they are, and let them know, listen, this is the purpose, man. You represent the family, you represent your race. This is how you got to move. This is how you have to act. Listen, this racism shit they trying to pump to you, that shit ain't real. We got to compete out here in these streets. We got to compete. You see what I'm saying? Everything got to come together. When they talk about that, every people got to come together for this shit to work. It ain't the people. It ain't the people. The things that have the things, not the people. The things that have to come together is called industry. That's what has to come together. Because, see, the industry and that coming together mind frame, that has to come. It's not the people. Everybody likes to blame the people because the people ain't represented. It ain't the people. The people is just following what the bigger heads say, what the people in power say.
Yeah,
it ain't the people fault. It's leadership. You know what I'm saying? And it's a shame when I hear leadership wanna blame the people. Well, if y'all wasn't out here doing AB, I'm doing this shit because you have the situation like this. If the situation wasn't like this, I wouldn't be doing that. And that's facts. You know what I'm saying? It's the leadership. We got situations within us where we think the competition is between us. We're not competition. The competition is the other races. Because as black people, you're not supposed to feel comfortable. Black people. You're not supposed to feel comfortable walking in your community with predominantly black people. That every store that collects money is somebody that's not black. You should not feel comfortable. You should not feel comfortable that the majority of people in this black neighborhood, predominantly black, is renting homes from people that aren't black. That's what caused crime, chaos, and confusion. Because y'all just tenants. The economy, the money, none of that's there. Then we look at other people's communities and we say, wow, look how their communities, look how they're able to take it. But we don't put into account how much they own their shit. How much when you walk into a white neighborhood. This is who we love, white people, right? And you go into a white neighborhood, right? You will see majority white people working in their neighborhood. When you go into neighborhoods predominantly Mexican, and if I'm lying, check it out. Look how many chicken spots is in a Mexican neighborhood. And tell me how many of them is commercial chicken spots, Smoke? Like churches and KFC and shit like that. Or how many of them do you see saying El Loco Polo or El Polo or some shit like that?
Yeah, it's gonna be Mexican. It's definitely not gonna be a fucking big brand joint. You know what I'm saying?
You know why, Smoke? If you don't see a bunch of Mexican restaurants and Mexican chicken spots, it don't really make it a Mexican area, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
If you think about it, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
If you go to a Chinese neighborhood, right? You see a bunch of Chinese food and shit, right?
Pretty much.
Like Chinese restaurants,
symbols,
right?
Language,
and symbols,
signs in Chinese.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Ain't that
Peking
something, right?
ducks
You don't
in
see
the
a bunch
window.
of McDonald's and shit in there. You don't see a bunch of KFCs and shit, right? But to keep it real, if you didn't see that shit, it wouldn't really be a Chinese neighborhood, right? Think about that. So what about Italian? If you go to like a little Italy or some shit, like a predominantly Italian, right? You see their restaurants, right? But then when you go to a predominantly black neighborhood, you see, without seeing that, it's not really Italian. You know, the flag and all that shit, and all their pizzerias and restaurants.
Right.
But then when you go into our neighborhoods, all you see is commercial food. KFC, Popeyes, Applebee's, Friday, and it's just like, what? And then here's how you know it's a black neighborhood. This is
spots from places that would be in those other neighborhoods that you named will be in our neighborhood. So, you know, a Chinese restaurant can,
it'll be a
can
Chinese
in our
restaurant all inside there.
Italian restaurant, whatever. You know, they could all survive in our neighborhoods or the environments we in. They could survive there. Whereas vice versa wouldn't even occur.
You wouldn't even see that. And that's the sad part. So that we sit here now and we wonder why our funds don't benefit the community. We wonder why our health is in the way that it is. Then we start to say, oh, because we don't got no money. And it's like, well, why you think you don't got no money? The reason why we think we don't got no money is because every time we spend our money, there's no benefit. It just goes away. And then it's like, well, what the hell is money on? You see what I'm saying? There's no benefit there. See, when you live in an economy where you can sit there now and tell your son, yo, go up to the local grocery store and see if you can bag some groceries. He go up there, and then, you know what I'm saying, this is a black-owned grocery store and shit, and they ain't got no problem letting the kids work in the store like how it used to be back in the day. What happened is you don't got a problem spending your money in the grocery store because you know this helps the community. This grocery store, the food that I get from here, the children that are employed, you know what I'm saying? Like it all works hand in hand. But when you sit over here now and it's like you go to these grocery stores now, your child can't get a job there, some shit like that, or you know what I'm saying, a corner store you can't get. When you're spending your money here, it's just like it's just being thrown away because you get nothing back from that. There's no benefit. It builds your community in no way.
Yeah.
It just leaves. And then we try to figure out
throwing it away.
That.
Yeah, you're not really throwing it away though. You throwing it in somebody else's basket.
I mean, yeah.
I know what you're saying, but just to make it more, just to push it further, you're throwing it in somebody else's basket. So you're not getting it back no more. It's not an advantage to you or your family, but it's going to be an advantage to somebody else's family and their economy, their system. You know what I'm saying? So not only are you taking away from yours, you enhancing somebody else's.
Somebody else's financial GDP.
Yeah, somebody right now is chilling. They got food, they got masks, they good off of your dollar, and you going to work every day because you can't afford it. You know what I'm saying? But you know that your local store that you spent all your bread in, they good. They good right now. They can afford for their store to be closed for the time being, whereas you can't afford that. So just think about that when you know what I'm saying? When you spend it.
They're not looking out. They ain't lending you no money.
Yeah.
They're not calling you up saying, hey, you good? You need some toilet tissue? Nah, they ain't asking none of that. They chilling while you out here struggling. And, you know what I'm saying? And we don't even get it. Now, just to add on to some more of this Chinese domination going on, right? So China has injected millions into the World Health Organization as the USA cuts funds. Experts say Beijing is trying to boost its influence over the agency and its deeply compromised chief. So we already know. There they go. China has pledged millions of dollars to the World Health Organization as the coronavirus pandemic rages on. The U.S. previously the largest financial contributor to the WHO announced earlier this month that it would freeze $400 million in payments to the agency. A national security expert told Business Insider that China contributions to WHO were not goodwill gestures, but a political power move meant to boost its superficial credentials in the pandemic. He adds that while WHO experts do wonderful work on the ground in all parts of the world, the agency leadership has become captured by countries such as China, putting its credibility to the test. China is pumping millions of dollars into the World Health Organization and action one expert described as a political move meant to boost its superficial credentials in the fight against the corona pandemic as the U.S. pulls its own WHO funding. The Chinese Foreign Minister's spokesman, Jin Shuang, told a Thursday news briefing that the country would be injecting an extra $30 million into the agency in support of global effort to fight COVID-19 and the construction of a public health system in developing countries. Now, who in the hell is going to want China to build some shit in their country and they can't even provide fucking plastic PPEs and shit? Amazing. So they over here now, basically, and I mean, they already said, you know, like this was expected pretty much, that they was gonna really pump the whole, you know, once Trump was pulling the United States out the World Health shit, the funding and shit like that, or even any of them, the Paris Agreement, all of that shit, China was just gonna step into place and try to play the role as, you know what I'm saying, the Don Dada, basically. I got the number one economy now, and I'm above America. You know what I'm saying? But
Right.
so none of that is a shock right now, but it's going to be a shock to see how America responds. Because, America responds by war.
Click, clack.
You know what I'm saying? So that's why I'm like, they're saying that China's officials and their propaganda machinery are in high gear worldwide. Experts told Business Insiders that China contributes to WHO were not goodwill justice, but rather serious. I already said that. Right. Lee said that while science. So they say the world health leaders are captured by China. Lee said that while science and health experts at WHO do wonderful work on the ground and part of the world, the agency leadership have become captured by countries such as put this credibility to the test. Back China centric to the close relations with China essentials. Yeah, that was about it. Yeah, I ended up reading the same shit twice. But but basically they're trying to take the next take the step in the place of America. Basically, that's what they're doing. You know what I'm saying? And then here's another situation right here, which is a little old day or whatever to the opioid wars between Britain and China. Wuhan was the blank capital of the world. Then the coronavirus hit. This to show you how this attack is going, Smoke. Wuhan was the blank capital of the world. When did you hear this? For drug traffickers interested in getting in on the fentanyl business, all roads once led to Wuhan. The sprawling industry city built along the Yangtze River in east central China is known for its production of chemicals, including the ingredients needed to cook fentanyl and other powerful synthetic opioids. Vendors smoke. They ship huge quantities around the world. The biggest customers were Mexican drug cartels, which have embraced fentanyl in recent years because it is cheaper and easier to produce than heroin. But the novel COVID virus that emerged in Wuhan last year before spreading across the planet like a planet had upended the fentanyl supply chain, causing a ripple effect that has cut into the profits of Mexican traffickers and driven up the street drug price across the United States. Ain't that some shit? Wuhan, this city been involved in a lot of shit, ain't it?
Well, I'm pumping out fentanyl, goddamn killer viruses. What the fuck? Wuhan got a jigger. What's going on?
You know what I'm saying? Damn, yo. Damn, there's need to be some rappers coming up out of that city.
Money shit, though. Serious, at the end of the day, it's like, fentanyl is right. That's getting money off the drug trade. So, and we know that the drug trade is $1 billion industry. So, it's like, damn.
Yeah, I mean, on a financial level. But I'm talking about on the war angle, you send fentanyl to fucking the Mexicans lace it up and send it to America. It wipes out a fucking population of these damn whites. It wipes out fucking Pretty much, all the little heroin drug dealers or whatever, drug addicts.
Yeah, because that fentanyl shit
is
deadly. It's way more deadly than the was it heroin? I think that's the shit that they put it in or
heroin,
whatever.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
So
so it's like
you hit 'em with
if
that
it's spiked with that shit, if it ain't spiked correctly, you know what I mean? You can end up. I want to see. I saw that on one of those drug joints. Where they be showing the niggas in the mask or whatever. They be selling drugs and doing all that. I forget the name of Drugs Incorporated, one of them type joints. And they was talking about the fentanyl and how they added it. And like now it's just people buy fentanyl like just by itself. You know what I mean? Like that's the new drug there itself. It used to be like an additive that they added to like heroin or whatever to make it more potent or whatever. But, China got his hands in all this shit. China got his hands in all
China
the
got their
pot
hands in
right
everything.
now.
China got their hands in everything. And that's the funny part about the whole shit. China got their hands in everything. And we don't even understand it. We don't even see that shit. We don't even see what's going on. Why? And that's what I keep on saying for black people. Economy is what the problem is with us. Economy. We don't have one. It ain't racism. It ain't white supremacy. It ain't white privilege. None of that shit. We don't got an economy. Because we don't got an economy, we can't play with the big boys. So we end up becoming big fish in small ponds. You know what I'm saying? So we out here thinking that we some big fish. But we just in a small pond and shit with other small fish and shit taking up room and space. So we don't got no economy, and that's what causing the chaos and shit like that. We have to compete. If we sat here and we let the fucking white man punk us to a point that we don't even realize he ain't the toughest guy on the block. So if he ain't the toughest guy on the block, like we're low on the totem pole. We're allowing everybody to punk us. There's no competition. There's no fight. There's no nothing. We're playing the role of the leader before Z, being humble and timid and meek. But the bad part about it, we ain't getting no bread. We ain't getting no economy. We're not taking over. We're not doing this to take over nothing. We have no ambitions. What we do is complain. And now we're scared. And you know why we're scared, smoke? Because shit goes in reverse. If you're going to say and you're going to believe that as a black person you must work twice as hard to be equal on the same page of a white person, or if you believe that when white America gets a cold, black America gets the flu, then that means you have to believe that when white America stand up to the government, black America turn into cowards. And ladies and gentlemen, that is our show. So, Smoke, you got anything you got to say to close out?
Another week in the building, man. Thanks for listening. Yeah, I mean, stay smart, stay safe in these streets. Yeah.
And plan for the future. Plan for the future.
Yeah.
That's what we need to be worried about.
Important.
Yeah, we don't need to be part of the scared crew. Peace.